I know this is a lot earlier than I usually record my vlogs, but kind of wanted to get this out of the way while it's still fresh in my mind. Hey guys, KiraKennedy here with day 7 in my vlog every day in August challenge, and I just got back from watching Suicide Squad, and I have to say, it was nowhere near as good as the trailers said it would be, portrayed it to be, and on top of all that, it wasn't the absolute worst movie I've seen, but it was pretty bad. It kept my attention for the hour. I wasn't, looking at I looked at my watch like once, but it kept my attention. But it dragged for a lot of the movie, and it really didn't pick up until the last 45 minutes or so. The basic story here was there's kind of a lot of plot points in this movie, and it kind of just one begins, one ends. Then you move on to the next. It was a very linear plot, I think, if that makes sense. But basically, it starts off with Amanda Waller, played by Viola Davis, meeting up with some guys. She says she wants to put together a team of metahumans and criminals in the event that, in the aftermath of the death of Superman. Spoilers, that's how Batman v Superman ends. But basically, she wants to put together a team of metahumans to protect them in the event that, something were to happen involving metahumans trying to attack the government and stuff. So she lists a whole bunch of criminals. Deadshot, played by Will Smith, which, let's be honest, it's every Will Smith character ever. He's not terrible in the movie, but it's... I don't even know if I could say it's very close to Deadshot, because I don't know the character. All I know is it's a Will Smith character. He plays it like a Will Smith character. It's basically the Fresh Prince grown up and becoming an assassin. Then there's Dr. Harleen Quinzel, aka Harley Quinn, who's... I will say, she's better than I thought she would. She wound up being better than I thought she would be, because I remember talking with a friend saying she might be the weakest part of the movie. She might wind up being the weakest part of the movie. She wasn't. There were points where Margot Robbie was definitely trying to make it work. I think a lot of it came down to the script and what she was given for the character. Then you had El Diablo, played by Jay Hernandez, who's basically a character who can manipulate fire. He was probably my favorite character in the entire movie, mainly because he had the most character growth, the most organic character growth. He had the tragic backstory, and he got to redeem himself in the end. Then you had Killer Croc, played by, I'm going to butcher this guy's name, and I apologize for that, but I'm going to try my best. Adewale Akinwumi Agabaji. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. He's just kind of there. Not terrible, not good, just there. Then you had Joel Kinnaman as Rick Flag. Again, not good, not bad. But, he contributes to the plot. He kind of helps move the plot along. So, he's not terrible. Then of course you have Karen Fukuhara. She winds up joining up later as Katana, who she probably has the least amount of character development and the least amount of backstory. Essentially, she is an assassin that works for Waller. I think she's introduced by just walking onto a plane, where it's revealed she killed some Yakuza. She just came back from killing some Yakuza guys. And then about 10 minutes before the final battle begins, it's revealed that, it's revealed earlier that the sword she carries takes the souls of those she kills. And it's revealed that her husband was killed with that sword by someone else. It doesn't really say who. And she regrets it, or I don't even know. She was probably one of the least developed characters in the film, but she was... I don't even know. And then we get to my least favorite character in this movie. I'd say second only to Jared Leto's Joker, although I'd probably say he's worse because he's in the movie more often than Jared Leto's Joker. But Captain Boomerang, played by Jai Courtney, he is by far the most annoying character in this movie. He's basically the comic relief, but he's the worst kind of comic relief. He's the annoying comic relief. He's constantly hitting on people. He tries to make schemes. He's constantly hitting on Katana. He's trying to make schemes to get out of it, which gets another member who is introduced solely to show off the fact that they have explosives. They're tagged with explosives, so if they try to escape, their heads get blown up. In a very PG-13 way. In other words, don't expect any super violence in this movie. But basically, the character who was there just to get killed was... I forget his name already. Slipknot. He's a character who has the ability to climb anything, which is stupid, and quite frankly, he was really only there to show the danger of what happened if the squad tried to deviate from orders. There was another one who was actually supposed to be added to the team. Dr. June Moon, played by Cara Delevingne, who is basically an archaeologist who was possessed by an enchantress named Enchantress. But she winds up becoming the main antagonist of the film. Basically, her character... Rick Flag is initially assigned to monitor her, but they kind of fall in love and all that, and after she sneaks out and steals a statue from Amanda Waller that winds up being her brother, they try to use her to take out the brother after he kills a bunch of civilians. But she winds up betraying them, and they work together to try and destroy the world, because humans worship machines, not gods anymore. It's... I don't know if I want to say it's like something of a bad Final Fantasy game. No, a bad Final Fantasy game would be, the people are suffering, so I'm going to kill them so they don't have to suffer anymore. This was just dumb. It made no sense, and a lot of this movie just... It didn't make sense. There are some cameos in the movie as well. You've got Ben Affleck, of course, showing up as Batman a couple times, and then himself in a post-credit scene. Not himself, as Bruce Wayne in a post-credit scene. I was about to say Bat Credit Card for some reason. Damn you, Schumacher! Anyways, but you also have a very, very brief cameo from Ezra Miller, who is actually going to be playing the Flash in Justice League. Now, I'm gonna step back a bit. One of my biggest criticisms of the DCEU, what they're calling their cinematic universe, has been that it's too dark, there's no humor or anything. This is the wrong way to go about it, the way they were doing it with Jai Courtney's Captain Boomerang, because he was annoying, he wasn't funny, and quite frankly, I was hoping he would be one of the characters that would die, because I don't want to see any more of him. But anyways, basically after Enchantress and her brother team up, they send the Suicide Squad into Metro City, I think it is, which is basically downtown Toronto. Like, they filmed most of this movie in downtown Toronto. So basically, the main meat of the story is Enchantress and their brother. The squad has to go in, and they have three objectives. Two objectives: stop the Enchantress and her brother, and then save a VIP. But I briefly mentioned it earlier, but had he been in the movie more, Jared Leto's Joker would have probably been the absolute worst part of this movie. Now I know everyone was saying, oh, it's the look and stuff, and they were calling, oh, this is going to be the worst Joker ever. The look, yeah, it's stupid, but it's not the worst part. Look, I'll defend Margot Robbie saying her character, she was trying, and the character was poorly written. She wasn't trying too hard, but she wasn't, she was trying to make it work. And I will give her points for that. It did work in some points, I guess. But Jared Leto's Joker, again, with the exception of Jai Courtney, who was in the movie way longer than Jared Leto. Jared Leto couldn't have been in there for more than 45 minutes to an hour tops in a 2.5-hour movie. Sorry. Couldn't have been in there for more than half hour, 45 minutes in a 2-hour movie, I think, was the runtime. But Jared Leto was, if not the worst, definitely a very, very close second in terms of characters I do not care if I see again in this movie. Again, completely ignoring the aesthetic stuff, the grill, the damaged tattoo, the fact that he has a Joker smile tattooed on his hand. I am not joking, that is actually there. Just the way he portrays it, he was trying way too hard to be Heath Ledger's Joker. Now, I haven't really seen a whole lot of Jared Leto movies. The only movie I've seen him in was Fight Club, which, very much like this movie, he was barely in. He was maybe in there for... maybe in Fight Club for 10 minutes, he was maybe in this movie for a half hour tops. And most of it served as as flashbacks to Harley Quinn's backstory. But it seemed like he was trying so hard to sound crazy that it didn't work. It wasn't even funny that it wasn't even funny crazy. It wasn't even like Nicolas Cage trying too hard to be crazy. It was just like, get this guy off my screen. I don't care. I don't want to see him. And without going into spoilers, I will say that the ending... I will say, for one thing, the last 45 minutes is really where it starts to pick up, because that's when you get a little more you get the majority of the character development for Diablo, we find out why he's vowed to not use why he originally vowed not to use his powers, besides the fact that he incinerated an entire prison yard. But you get a very, I'll admit, the action sequence at the end, the final battle scene, was good. It was well executed, it was interesting, and it was tense. At least in my opinion. The only downside I will say about that is the resolution afterwards, after they kill the Enchantress, I thought it was kind of stupid. I didn't like it, You hang there's this whole, it's not really introduced it's not really a theme throughout, but it's something that's introduced once. You've got Dr. Moon, Cara Delevingne's character, who she begs Rick Flag to that if the Enchantress were to completely take over, that Rick Flag were to kill her, no matter what the cost, even if it meant losing her. And there's not much else I can say about that without kind of spoiling it. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. I apologize if this seems a lot more disjointed than usual. I am not used to doing spoiler-free reviews. But, if I had to give an outright rating to this movie, I'm feeling a little generous. I'd probably give it a C. If I had to give it a letter grade, It wasn't absolutely terrible. It wasn't, it didn't make me physically angry. But I don't think outside of maybe doing it for a future Hipster Ninja review, I don't think I'd watch it again. Although I will say one benefit to watching it, or I might watch it if it's on cable, maybe. Although I will say one benefit to maybe waiting till it's on DVD or watching it on cable is that I do not have to worry about overly obnoxious little Let me preface this. When I went to go see the movie at my local theater, the spot I originally sat in, which I usually sit close to the back, right in the middle, so I don't have to turn or anything, and so I'm not hurting my neck looking up. But right in front of the spot where I initially sat, there were some very obnoxiously loud kids or teenagers who were shouting at their friends, who were using the flashlights on their phones and stuff, and flashing around saying, "Shut off your phones! Shut off your phones!" And shouting to their friends across the aisle. I was initially going to go out and grab one of the employees to see if I could get them to tell them to shut up, because I'm pretty sure if I tried to do that, I would have gotten kicked out. But then I stopped myself, because I wasn't sure if I could do that, or if they would have just told me to handle it myself. So I wound up moving to the other side of the theater, where it wasn't as bad, although I'm pretty sure there might have been a girl in, about the middle row who might have been Snapchatting during the movie. Could be wrong, which normally, whatever, that's your thing, but at least turn your screen brightness down. A little consideration is all I'm asking. But with all of that out of the way, if you guys would like to follow me on social media, I am on Twitter at KiraKennedyHNR, Tumblr at KiraKennedyHNR.tumblr.com, and of course you can always check out my Facebook page at facebook.com/KiraKennedyReviews. And as always, if you'd like to check out any of my past work, my Let's Plays, my stream archives, even my reviews, you can do so at peanutbutterdisaster.com. Now, before I actually sign off, I'd actually like to ask you guys what you thought of the movie, if you guys have seen it. Let me know in the comments below. Did you think it was bad? Did you think it was the worst movie ever made? Personally, I thought it was better than Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, though that's not exactly saying much. Anyways, until tomorrow, I'm Kira Kennedy, and thank you for watching. Sorry, did not mean to bump the mic.
Peanut butter disaster.